All right, let's talk about something that's on a lot of people's minds: falling birth rates. It's a huge challenge, right? And to find solutions that actually work, we have to be brutally honest about what the data is telling us, even when it's uncomfortable. So in this explainer, we're going to face the scientific evidence head-on and see what it really says about the economics of starting a family.
And that quote really sets the stage. Look, this isn't about picking fights. It's about being effective. We're going to follow the data, and it leads to a powerful idea, that the dual-income family, when it's a necessity and not a choice, can actually become a trap that lowers fertility. And we'll see how the economic stability of just one partner can have an absolutely massive impact.
So before we even look at the numbers, we got to understand how we got them. You know, in social sciences, especially when you're talking about family and money, new ideas don't just get a free pass. They get put through the ringer. Think about it. In a world where there are a lot of popular ideas or narratives about how things should work, any research that says something different has to be rock solid. It gets challenged, it gets retested, and it gets picked apart from every single angle you can imagine.
It's like an academic trial by fire. A study comes out with a finding that goes against the grain. Immediately, it's put under a microscope. Other experts try to poke holes in it, replicate it, and see if it holds up. Only the absolute strongest conclusions, the ones backed by super clean, repeatable data, make it through. So the evidence we're about to look at, it has passed an incredibly high bar. It's important because it survived.
So, what's the big finding that keeps making it through this gauntlet, time and time again? Well, there's one correlation that is just unbelievably consistent across different countries, different cultures, and different decades.
And here it is, plain and simple. Study after study finds this incredibly powerful direct link. When male income and job stability go up, fertility rates tend to go up too. And when they go down, birth rates follow. This isn't just some small statistical quirk. It is one of the most stable relationships in all of demographic research. It's a huge signal in the noise.
Now, here's the crucial thing to understand. Researchers don't see this as a statement about culture or traditional roles. They see it as simple, rational risk management. Deciding to have a child is a massive financial commitment. So, if a family has a secure, stable income from one partner, it creates a powerful economic safety net. It dramatically lowers the financial risk of the other partner stepping back from work, even for a little while.
That's a great question. And you might be thinking exactly that. I mean, doesn't it just come down to whether the guy is employed or not? Well, the data lets us get way more specific than that. And the distinction is everything.
And this just nails it. The real dividing line isn't just having a job. I mean, most men are employed. The game-changing variable, the decisive one, is whether one partner's income is stable enough to actually support the family's basic needs on its own. That's the security blanket. That's what seems to give a family the confidence to even consider having children.
Okay, this brings us to a really important concept, and one that might seem a little backwards at first. We usually think of a two-income household as a good thing, right? A sign of progress. But what happens when it stops being a choice and starts being a requirement?
This is what economists call the forced dual income family. And let's be clear, this is not about two people who both love their careers and choose to work. This is about a household that literally cannot pay its bills, the mortgage, the food, the basics, unless both partners are working full-time. It's a situation built on pure economic necessity.
Now, just think through the brutal logic of that situation. For a family in this trap, a pregnancy isn't just a life change, it's an instant financial crisis. You lose one of those necessary incomes and the whole house of cards could fall. Raising even one child becomes this massive long-term financial strain. And a second child, from a risk management perspective, it can look like an impossibly dangerous gamble. So choosing to have fewer kids, or none at all, becomes the most logical, rational decision you can make.
So if that's the underlying problem, what does it mean for the solutions we always hear about? You know, a common focus is on getting men to do more housework and childcare, which is a good thing, of course, but let's see how its impact stacks up.
And when you look at the research, the story is incredibly clear. Yes, when dads are more involved at home, it does have a positive effect on fertility, but it's a limited one. The data consistently shows that its impact is dwarfed by the effect of stable, family-supporting wages for men. They are both positive factors, but one is a gentle nudge and the other is a powerful shove.
So then, if our goal is to actually be effective, to pull the lever that makes the biggest possible difference, what does all this battle-tested evidence tell us is the real heart of the matter? It points right here, squarely at this. policies and economic conditions that boost wages and job security for men seem to be one of the most powerful tools we have for raising fertility rates. Why? Because it directly tackles that fundamental problem of financial risk that families are weighing every single day.
So why don't we hear about this more often? Well, because honestly, the implications are uncomfortable. It suggests that just focusing on getting more women into the workforce isn't a complete solution. It makes things like male wages and job security a central issue for population policy. And it forces us to admit that for many, the two-income model isn't a cure-all. It can actually be an economic trap that keeps families small.
So let's wrap this up. When we put our favorite stories and narratives aside and just follow the hard data, the evidence that has survived all the scrutiny, a very clear picture emerges. It's all about the mechanics of risk, security, and choice in the modern world.
And that's really the whole point. Looking at this data isn't about making a moral judgment or saying one way of life is better than another. It's about one thing: being effective. It's about having the courage to correctly identify the root of a problem so we can actually design solutions that might, work.
And that really leaves us with a final question to chew on. When it comes to low birth rates or any other massive challenge we face, are we willing to do what it takes? Are we willing to prioritize the solutions that the evidence shows are effective, even if they're not the ones that are comfortable or popular to talk about? That might just be the most important question of all.